Hi everyone, it's Sheriff Sandra Crack here, just finishing off today's tasks for the 26th of January 2023. I'll keep it short and brief because everyone's had a really big day, but I wanted to let you know today that massive work was done through the year 2021, 22 and 23. And from 1992, massive research was done, the history of wars, the psychological wars that were cast upon us, and how we've been treated and abused. So what we've got is a little celebration, and I'll tell you why. 2022 was a great year with grand juries, and we handed the land back to our tribal elders and offspring on May the 30th in 2022, and a lovely Noongar lady from Western Australia, tribal lady, Moretta Kickett, signed to take the land back. Now 2 weeks ago we had another elder signed to take the land back as well in Queensland. So we've got 2 now and 2 sheriff's signatures, therefore the land can come back to our tribal people. So that's tribal law, and tribal law now will be on your soil as of tomorrow morning. Everyone please understand, whatever it takes to celebrate, look, just go get a cup of cream de menthe, stick a candle in them, okay, celebrate. We are losing our children to suicide. We cannot wait one more day, not even one more day, before we start telling our children that law on the land is back with the people. You do know it was stolen in 1788. You do know anything stolen must be returned. And please understand, there's been a massive case in Western Australia courts sitting here. It's taken 8 months to chisel the fact that the Sheriff Act 1887 can exist on this soil. I had 15 of the highest politicians, including a QC, who within these folders wanted me stopped. It's simple. It's a UK law under the Crown that was shelved. Now, how many other laws have they shelved on us that would save our country and help our people? So it's been pulled out by me, and it's been put on this soil by me in 2021, 2022, and now this is 2023. So sadly, the sheriffs were very scared of being prosecuted. However, I give you calm when I tell you, in America, 3,208 sheriffs were with Sheriff Mack. Only 7 stood by him when he went up against Bill Clinton, and he won. Now, of course, it's political suicide to do that. Anyone trying to do this, if you try this as a good lawyer in the judicial system, it is professional suicide. So it's not for the weak-hearted being a sheriff. Now, law on the land is the law on the land. It's their land. It belongs to our tribal people. So what we've got to understand is it's stolen, it's given back, but we've got 3 victims here. We have now got the people that came here, such as my forefathers, who bought their farm and settled, and of course had us kids through the generations. Now, we're a victim because we actually now can't own the soil. However, through negotiations with the tribal elders and the tribal groups throughout Australia, Western Australia's been done. I've tried with Northern Territory. You can't even get a leg into Northern Territory. They don't believe in grand juries. Queensland now, and we're going really well with that, and that is all thanks to the tribal sovereign tribal federation up there. So I'm really grateful for their help. So they've been going since 2012. So look, take rest and assure yourself that there are good people doing good stuff. Now what I wanted to talk to you about just tonight, this one case, right? This is what they do in law courts. They shove you in and bamboozle you with shit. I'll show you what actually in this folder pertains to any one thing. 15 accusations, but then I forensically audited it, and you can see the colours. The amber ones right over here are the only ones that have any validity because the rest aren't signed. There's no stat decks, not one stat deck here or affidavit under the penalty of perjury. So here's a whole court case, 8 months of my life taken, jailed twice, 2 really bad arrests. One was with 14 cops in a coffee shop and I had a 12-month-old child with me. Let me tell you, these people are thugs when they do that. No arrest warrants because they don't go to the judge first. The politicians tell them to go do this and that. Sort of like the voice upstairs. I call them the faceless 15. You've got your John Quigleys, Kim Beazley, and like John Quigley QC. Hello? You can't run a case if you don't have an affidavit. Show the harm. Where's the medical reports? And how do you get a paper cut from an email? Okay? So guys, what we're going to do is bring our judicial system back under LORE. Now, LAW has protected people so far, and I wear my badge tonight because from now on you're going to see this everywhere. Because what we have got now is LORE with the approval of the tribal people. LAW will always protect your peace, your freedoms and your rights. You don't lose that. Now there's an issue with the land. 1788. The land was never bought. The land was never sold. The land was stolen. So therefore stolen goods are returned under the 2 documents I got signed with the tribal elders, under a grand jury's permission. The land goes back to the original owners. So with the help of the original Sovereigns Tribal Federation in Queensland, it's a very dedicated group to the truth, to uniting us as one with our tribal elders, and it's been so successful that I'm so proud now to be able to hand that over and walk away from that, guys. So you got your land back. Now, I've got to bring some children home. Let's have a look at a court case just with a child. I took the main parts that I needed out, just the main parts. Imagine having your children taken, then you've got a grown man who loves his children, 3 of them, taken. Do you realise what you've got when you start going through these? You've got a woman who claimed domestic violence. Oh, but he never touched me is what she said in the second sentence. I shouldn't have listened to Kate. You've got infiltrators. They're out there and they want the children because they become money. $300,000 to $400,000 a year is paid out of trusts into the government coffers so that they can pay the carers $1,100 a fortnight, okay, and probably more. So, and then you put them in group homes, and that can go up to $900,000 to $1 million a year that they take out of that child's trust. So, you know, Kate made me lie about, I'll leave it blank, that's the husband. There was no family violence. Kate, you're everywhere. The program, look, that conversation goes on. When can I see the kids? When can the kids come home? Don't worry, I just want the kids home. Doesn't get an answer. Full text messages. Okay? Then you've got a husband who goes up against the court, doing his best to get the children home. His wife's gone. Understandably, she let the children go just to get a motel room for the night. Okay, what women do just to have a night away. for goodness sake. But when you leave your children, when you leave the gate open, it's not the children getting out that you've got to be careful about. It is the family government systems coming in the gate that take your children for money and profit. Just want to show you one more thing. There's an issue. No wet signatures. You can see I'm going for no wet signatures. Okay. Oh, we've got a wet signature. Right. Goodness me. Look at all the forms. No signatures. Just computer generated. Oh, but wait. Right at the back. One wet signature. On an empty form. Okay. So the stress that this father has been under is massive, as is the case every time. So then you ask questions and you get these answers, right? How does the father get the children back when you've got those situations going on? Okay, that's 3 children just to one family, right? We've got thousands of children that want to come home. Let's go to the government. There's a PGPA legislation, and you've got the associated instruments. Okay, it's PGPA. Guys, get your Google out, start having a look. You've got all your ATSIC shoved under codes. It's a corporation, mate. Guys, it's a corporation. Have a look at the PGPA, go get the codes, break the codes, have fun with that. I did it. It's very enjoyable. Do you realise we have a blood authority? Do you realise our blood donations get sold overseas? They're traded. When did you ever approve that? Don't you think this is the people that have got the purse and running away with it? A bit deceitful, isn't it? So we've got beautiful habeas corpuses now to bring people out of jail. Let's go to the third victim. Innocent people in jail. The judges in 2015 in the state of Tasmania had to admit that they were not under the oath. Do you Google again, guys? So the writ of habeas has been put out on many people. And what we've got to do now is organise all of those that have been innocently charged and have done time in jail to come forward and get the sheriffs to reinvestigate. There's compensation there, guys, because you haven't had a judge. Now, let's just go for it. State of Tasmania, if you've got one problem, say you've got a little mouse in one cupboard, it's the mouse you're not seeing in the other cupboard. So every other state was doing the same, weren't they? Okay. Arrest warrants. They have been done by the sheriffs. As of tomorrow, they can go out under LORE. So this one's for Peter Gutwin, Tasmania. They're a large file. Obviously, there's evidence behind that substantiates that, done by a sheriff in Melbourne. I do know I put him on notice. Peter Gutwin and I had to take guardianship over the children, unborn, up to 2 months old, because they're going to terminate a child while they were living up to 2 months of age, born. They could still be terminated in an abortion document. That's murder. So guys, look, I'm not going to go into anything else. Just a quick note. Litigation's all done, ready, compensation's ready to go. So just write to justicecafe@gmail.com, justicecafe3@gmail.com. Writing, we've got all of our notice of liabilities ready for the bar, for the members of the bar, which is all your judges. Right, they're on penalty and they're on notices, they're done. And under this one, any body corporates, which means McDonald's, any corporations, anyone who made you vax. And also too, please understand, these were done an environmental act from 2013 for poisons, which is our fluoride in our water, which is poison. and also to the Roundup. And I have a lot of concerns about the Monsanto cases, which we will be doing for the farmers, because we can't lose our farmers. Please understand, all of our scrolls are signed off. Any laws we made throughout the year are all signed off and go in for working forward. They're here to protect you now. They were done in the grand jury, passed by the grand jury. And here we go. We've got the 1986 Government Guarantee Act amendment in the year 2009. I can tell you it was done in 1986 because the mining town of Rosebery, Tasmania, they lost 280 men off their workforce because of this stuff. That's the government and a corporation in America. The mining industry only wanted to use it to chop workers. They called them deadwood. Okay, the Sheriff Act, you must be signed under a JP, and we need more sheriffs. So it's quite simple. It's your intention to work in full truth to your country and to the Crown Royal Instruments. Mine was taken to Queen Victoria. I refused to have it taken under Queen Elizabeth because she hurt children, and I had nothing to do with her. Okay, so there's letters coming out, authorities coming out from tribal law. They'll soon be put on a website. So you've got the rights of the child, definitions, all the scrolls are there now. These are all made on this land for our laws on this land. Okay guys, you'll know them, they're the scrolls. Okay, so it's stacks of work done. Well, actually, that's just a bit of it. We've got a hear ye, hear ye, hear ye, which we will see around on all the buildings soon. Now, my document went out in 2021. It was given to Lynn Bennett, and she didn't record any of the buildings that she sees back. So guys, look, this is an eviction notice for all foreigners, which is corporation. Anyone who abandoned the Crown and is pretending to be in the Crown courts better get going. On your bike, Charlie. You can't stay in this country. Game's up. Game, set and match. Checkmate. Today it's checkmate. We're losing children, tribal children, to hanging. That's suicide, mate. And while we sit back and do nothing, then we become part of the solution that's not working. Well, guess what? My solutions work. That's why I'm standing here now and not in this court staring down 45 years in jail. Because the solutions I give you work. Because it's about the truth. You see, and I'll end it on this note. A lie can never become the truth. A lie can never become the truth. So Terra Australis is back. It was returned to the tribal sovereigns, tribal people throughout Australia. The documents have been signed off, and you will remember this notice went on all buildings 2018. That took back the buildings. They were reclaimed. There's a document being made which will come out to you. It will address the fact that now your mortgage doesn't have land to it. Therefore, you were sold a contract that's not valid. However, through the negotiations with the tribal people, they are so lovely. They do not want anyone out of their homes. So you will stay in your homes. You'll just have a problem with the mortgage because you won't have one lawfully. But your bank's going to tell you that you do. Well, they can have good luck with that, with the tribes. Okay guys, so that's all signed off. Taxes. Taxes are null and void. They were voluntary. All your work, and every time you work and pay tax, you're volunteering. Every time you sign up for a Medicare doctor's appointment, you're giving them more approvals. You're ticking their little boxes. While you're ticking their little boxes and giving that signature, you realise you're giving them things that they can trade on the stock exchange. Your signature is worth a lot of money. So guys, there will be communication coming out. We're just looking for funding for that. Okay, beautiful lady, Becky, in Queensland, helped me draft this, and we drafted it on the land, which was a beach, called the Land of First Light. It's tribal land, sacred land, and that's where this document was wrote, guys, for you, so that everyone would know they're safe. Okay, anyone interested in becoming a sheriff? There we go, whole pack, Sheriff's Act 1887, guys. I'm just going to read something out to you. And I know it's getting late and you've all had a big day. This is critical. The reason I sit in front of you is because of this. And when they took me the first time, did I not sit truly for the first time? When you've been taken down and shoved in their jails, 64-year-old lady, treated like that, it's disgusting. Section 3.3 of the Sheriff Act 1887, this is the original version, not the bastardised version that they got rid of, okay? And have a look at section 3.3. The office of the sheriff, or any of the offices of the sheriff, shall not become void by reason of the demise of the Crown, or of the Cornwall, or the Duchy or Cornwall, but the person holding the office shall, unless sooner removed or superseded, continue in office for the remainder of his or her term, in the like manner as if the demise had not happened. Therefore, we supersede as sheriffs the Crown. Also, too, my term is 12 months. But because I've created this, I'm in administration all the way through. And also, too, I do not have anyone to replace me, and I can't step down until I get a replacement for me, for my county and for my area, and also too for my country. Let's go to the next one. And let's go over section 8. The powers of a sheriff for posse contaminants. 1. Every person in the county shall be ready and apparelled at the command of the sheriff and at the cry of the country to arrest a felon, whether within a franchise or without. Now I'm going to explain to you a franchise. Under the Franchise Act 1902, do you realise under these arrest warrants that were done, no politician could step into Parliament on the 19th of May. Western Australia, I am aware, did all 600 people who were going and standing in that election under the House of Representatives. Right? 600, 566 to be exact. So that's under the Franchise Act 1902. They cannot even vote. So therefore, when you went in to vote, there was no decree and no writ on your polling booths because they were under arrest. Now the AEC did have these documents served to them as well, and the AEC commissioner was put under an eviction and arrest notice. So these are eviction notice. They're told to get off the soil. Okay, we're not monsters. They're the monsters, and we will never become them. Never. But they are told to turn themselves into a police station where they can find a policeman who was there prior to 1986. That's when I can prove corporatisation under America through that government guarantee document that I found and showed you earlier. Let's go back to it. So the call of the country, the cry of a country. Let me tell you, we're crying. We're crying. So it goes on to say to arrest a felon, whether within a franchise or without. In other words, the corporations who jabbed, they're without a franchise. Okay, so guys, as the sheriff, I'm asking you, as per Section 8, powers of the Sheriff for posse contaminates. Section 1, every person in a country shall be ready and apparelled at the command of the Sheriff and at the cry of a country to arrest the felons without a franchise. Well, guess what? Citizens arrest, guys. You've now got my permission because I've tried to get sheriffs. The men won't stand up. It's been women. I know the men are doing the talking and getting all the paperwork right, but guess what? We here care about the children and the ones in these detention camps. I'm sorry, we can't wait another week. So I'm actually now issuing an order through this video that any person who wants to be a sheriff, please write to justicecafe3@gmail.com and I'll help you be right under the crown. You answer to no one. It's a bit like God. You and God have a personal relationship. Well, you have that same relationship with the crown. Now, the UK laws save the crown on instruments, which is your 1688 Bill of Rights, your 1215 Magna Carta, which does still exist. Also, too, the Magna Carta came out 1215. And 1611, King John actually did the King James Bible and said, if the Magna Carta fails, then the King James Bible becomes the law on the land. So guys, we're not losing that. Through the negotiations with our beautiful tribal elders, we retain that. Okay guys, so you don't lose nothing. Things like car registrations, it's a policy, it's a corporation. You never bought into a corporation, guys. You never left the crown. In 1999, you did a referendum and over 50% of this country said, we're not leaving the crown. We never did. Now, Prince Charles in South Africa did a speech which said, oh, well, you know, you can do what you like now because the mother's dead. And actually, no, he did this before the mother died, his speech. And he said, oh, any Commonwealth country now can become whatever they want, like a republic. No way do we want anyone like Biden on this soil. And guess what? No one man should ever hold your power in his hand. That's a controller. That can be a dictator. So tribal and the sheriffs are all councils. So you'd sit before a council, be judged before a council. Also, too, grand juries are a group of 25 that test evidence, guys. So, look, the sheriffs are judges. So please know, if you're a lawyer and you're a good-hearted person, please write, because as a sheriff, under oath, you're under the penalty of perjury continuously. So if you do one thing wrong, you then are in violation of your oath. Okay? Anyone in violation of an oath is in treason. We all know that. However, this law has punishment. It has its own punishment built in. If you accuse someone falsely and it's wrong, then you must do the time that you accused that person of. Gee, that's great, isn't it? You're not going to go out and falsely charge someone, are you? Just like these police, with no deterrent. Okay, look guys, I can go through this. It's close on, 40-some pages, 45 pages. But just those two clauses are critical. In the demise of the Queen, and then under Section 8, the powers of the Sheriff. And at the cry of the country, this got pulled out of its archives by me, for you, for this country. 3 victims exist now, the tribal people, from the theft of their land in 1788. That's why their land's been handed back by me. I've finished my investigation. The document's been signed off. Now, this does not come easy, guys. This is the investigation. There's documentation to give the land back to the people. And behind that is a habeas corpus to bring the innocent out of jail. just write to justicecafe3@gmail.com. Stolen lands were returned on the 11th of the 1st, 2023 by Auntie Lois from Queensland, and the terms and conditions of giving back, and that's the receipt, signed. Marita Kickett, signed for the one in the grand jury. We have 2 elders that took your land back for tribal law, LORE. LAW sits alongside of that because the tribal people have acknowledged that we come out here believing we could have a new start in our own land. Well, that's now changed. It changed because only the first 6 inches of the soil was ever all you purchased anyway. Only the first 6 inches of the soil. So you'll probably get charged rent by tribal, but there is no mortgage contract. So pull your contracts out, guys, and have a look at what you purchased. And if the land is part of your mortgage contract, then you need to go to one of the tribal people, have a talk to them, or write to the sheriffs. That's justicecafe3@gmail.com. Okay, guys, look, it was never meant to be that long tonight. Everyone's had a nice night. I've been drowned in paperwork, but these are the international standards given by Donald Trump under environment. They've been poisoning us, guys. Thus, the compensation tax, the land back, our self-worth back, our functioning for ourselves, the corporation gone, so they can't poison us anymore. The Sheriff Act 1887, guys, is the instrument under the Crown Law that has protected the whole country. Right, and we will communicate, but this is how they do it. They give you big folders like this and say, oh, look at all the proof, she's such a bad person. But when you look at it, pull out the affidavits, guys, and look at them. That's it, just that few little ones there. There's 5, only 5, and guess what? They're not signed under the penalty of perjury. She wrote an email. Oh, I opened the email. Where's the harm? It's an arrest warrant. What they don't understand is now they're saying that they got those emails and it says they were an arrest warrant. The police were supposed to arrest those people done by this sheriff over in Western Australia, and they didn't. So that's something you guys can think on. I don't know where my mind goes. They're in dereliction of their duty under the Crown. Oh, but we know they're not under the Crown. We know they're in a corporation of America, okay? Because if they were under a Crown oath, they would have had to have gone and picked up those politicians. Even if the Queen run amok, she answers. Okay, guys? She answers. So please know that all the bluff stops. You can analyse it down to one page, the behaviours of court case. All the sheriffs will be taught how to do this. They're colour-coded for reasons. They do start off looking like they have some substance, but when you go over here, the amber ones, they're still on amber. Still alerts. Okay? They don't need the Evidence Act 2001. Okay, guys, so technically there's a reset, which is 1788. No law exists since 1788. Any improvement on that land, be any building they did, sorry mate, I know what the council would do to you if you tried to sell your house and you put a little outbuilding out the back, they'd make you pull it down. Well, guess what? The same law applies to these people. It was never their land to build on. Okay? Why? Because a lie can never become the truth. And a sheriff has a duty to the country and a cry of the country. And a lie can never become the truth. I'm Sandra Crack, I stick by it. Put those compensations in, I'm ready to process them up. My duty with these arrest warrants, as I said, this is one of them, There's over 5,600 done. And I know there's plenty out in the community that was served. Right, guys, we've got a big duty ahead of us now. Anyone watching this that harmed a child, just go off to jail. Do us all a favour. Okay? We don't want you walking our soil. All those children in those homes, they're coming home because they belong to those children belong to our community, and the community will look after those children. You don't get to meddle in our affairs anymore. You don't get to traffic our children. And that's the contract to give the land back. That's the receipt from the Sheriff's duty. Okay, over and out. Love yous dearly. We have a new country, and this is my way of celebrating, so please understand I have a boring life full of books. And it's 26th of January 1788 to 2023, and it says Survivors' Day. We won. Love from Tassie. And guys, just get a chocolate eclair or some cake. Whatever you do, just celebrate it. Okay? Love yous dearly from the heart. Okay, guys, we have a new land. We have a new law. Keeping our old law under the UK Crown Law instruments, God bless the tribe, we walk forward. But no tribal person will ever enter a UK Crown Court ever. That was never fair. Okay, guys, love yous dearly. Happy days ahead.